I do travel around now and then giving talks on Winchester rifles because it's been one of my passions for a whole lifetime in collecting Winchester rifles. And I really, people ask me, when did I start? Well, I really started when I was 12 years old when my father gave me my first Winchester 30-30. And I shot my first deer with that rifle and many after that. But over the years, it was a wonderful hobby, and it's a very lucrative hobby now because these guns that go back over 100 years now, the appreciation of them is much better than you're getting in the bank at 1.0% interest and things. So I don't tell too many people about this, but I have 114 Winchester rifles. I have one of every lever action Winchester ever made, almost in every caliber. And these four were in my collection, but they were duplicates. And I forget what year it was, but I couldn't think of any better place to put them than in the Moultonborough Historical Society building here, and this lovely frame that Andy Bover made. It's beautiful for them, and as you can see, they're all in good shape. But the history on these goes back to, well, Oliver Winchester bought New Haven Arms in 1866. And the 1866 model is what the cowboys called the Yellow Boy. It was a lever action, short barrel, with a full magazine like this right to the end. And it was the gun that the Indians loved, and they put all their tacks in the stocks and everything because it was short, and they could carry it on horseback, and Winchester put a saddle ring on the side of it so they could tie it down and it wouldn't fall off and get lost. But as the years went on, that was fairly impractical weapon for buffalo hunting and things like that. So in 1873, this is the first real Winchester successful repeating rifle. And this is the gun that is called the gun that won the West. And so this is, in this particular model, they made a movie of it, one of 1,000. The factory would take specific rifles as they come off the production line and mark them one of 1,000. And the last one of 1,000 that I'm aware of sold at auction went for over $2 million. Now that's not worth $2 million, or it wouldn't be here. But the thing with this rifle is it was made they made it in 3 different calibers, but the first ones were 44-40. Now 44 means it's 44 hundredths of an inch in diameter, the barrel, inside of the barrel. And the 40 means that it had 40 grains of black powder in the cartridge case when it was fired. They made that because that same cartridge is the one that Colt made for this Colt Frontier 6-shooter. So you could carry one cartridge for both your Colt and your rifle. Now the theory is great, but 40 grains of black powder in a rifle with a long barrel is insignificant to kill much more than a rabbit. And they found this out, when they got into the Indian Wars. So, 1873. In 1886, they developed this rifle, which is this is the buffalo rifle, and they made this in many, many calibers. The largest was 50 caliber, 110. So that's 110 grains of black powder in the cartridge case with a 1/2 inch diameter bullet. And that was pretty powerful. Then they realized that the market for that, and there's no elephants in this country and things like that, and the buffalo were being pretty well desecrated for their hides and things. So Winchester in 1892 came out with this smaller carbine, although this is a rifle, but they made it in carbine also, and went back to the old cartridges the same thing, 25-20, 38-40, and 44-40, but used at the beginning of smokeless powder, not black powder. So they got a lot more powerful out of that cartridge. And then of course this is the classic 1894. This is the gun that they call the 30-30 because it was 30-30, but it was black. It was not black powder. It was smokeless powder, and probably the most prevalent and most widely used and successful deer rifle that's ever been manufactured. And I doubt back in the era of these rifles in the late 1800s or early 1800s even, I bet there wasn't a household in Moultonborough that didn't have a Winchester stuck in the closet and a Colt in the bureau drawer or something. So it's a history, and the thing about them is all the development of the Winchester rifle, from starting way back from even before New Haven Arms in New Haven, Connecticut. There was a manufacturer in Windsor, Vermont that started the whole process of making a repeating rifle so that you didn't have to hold your rifle, put powder down the bore, then put a patch in, and then put the ball in, and then put another patch in. And as a matter of fact, this gun is the gun that the Indians used to say, that damn, they call it a Yankee rifle because it came from that damn Yankee rifle that you load on Sunday and shoot all week, because the cartridge is only that long. As I said, it was underpowered, but the cartridges went from there to there. You can see how many. You can get 15 in it at a time. So that was quite an improvement. So that's the whole story of in a nutshell, of Oliver Winchester. Unfortunately, Oliver was in the shirt making business before he bought New Haven Arms Company. And he probably had his idea for making shirts was, in New Haven, Connecticut, he had what he called the putting out process. His factory workers would cut the cloth to make shirts that didn't have the yoke on the top that pulled down and was heavy. He arranged it so it would be more comfortable in those big fluffy things. And the putting out process was, he manufactured hundreds of these little sewing machines. Now I don't know whether that's actually one or not, but that type of machine, not like the Singer. And he put them out to ladies in their homes so they could stay at home, and it would supply the cut pieces already cut from patterns, and they'd make the shirts. And then he made a lot of money doing that.
So you mean that was like a home business?
It was like a
piecework.
Yeah, piecework. Yeah. And then he bought the New Haven Arms Company, and unfortunately he died before this rifle ever was developed, so he didn't have his hand in it except the theory about lever action repeating rifles.
Was there an earlier rifle that he did?
Yeah, the 1866 was the first one that he developed and did. But
did the war have anything to do with that? Was there pressure to get better arms for the war, the Civil War?
Oh, well, let's see.
The
war was over then.
Right, but
over 1865,
and
he bought the company in 66.
But there was a time, there was a lead up.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they must have been demanding better,
more
efficient arms.
Yeah, and as history moved people west across the country through, the barren land, the rifle was a necessity. It was an absolute necessity. And that's where they all came from. So that's a little short story about.
We had a question the other day that maybe you can answer.
Springfield, Massachusetts. We were driving through Springfield, Massachusetts. There was an arms manufacturer there.
Springfield manufacturing.
And what kind of?
There were many in the Springfield area.
So Springfield rifle came from Springfield, Mass?
Was there a rifle called
Springfield? Yeah. Springfield Armory.
Yeah.
Okay, that's the armory there, where there's a museum there.
Yeah, there's a museum there, and that was the military. In fact, that Civil War rifle that's out there, or musket that's out there now is the Springfield.
Oh,
Very distinctive. It's how-
Springfield 03 is what they used in the First World War.
That's
Part
right.
of the second.
03A3.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just.
That's it.
Thank you very much, George.